What a nightmare. We've had a nightmare time, haven't we? So we switched. We were using Zoom, but Chris was only paying for the lowest tier, so the audio sucked. So now we switched it. So now we're using Discord. So hopefully the sound is better. All right. Well, I can't. Yeah. Okay. All right. So where were we? We were just talking about. Yeah. All right. So we were on that slide there, and we were saying how compared to the 6000 series, it was at least 29% faster in gaming, but we didn't know, the specs fully of how what GPU they're using, and we don't. Yeah, pricing is a big if at the moment. Yeah. Is that? That's it. Yeah. What? Yeah. But it's a mini LED display, isn't it? And it's 600 nits. So even if it's glossy, it's going to be. You can be able to see it pretty well, aren't you? This is the and it's got 504 dimming zones. Yeah. Yeah. What's their Nebula HDR engine? Yeah. Oh. Hold on, Philip's saying you can't hear anybody else in the call. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna. It might be because we have to create a new call. Let me do this. I'm gonna add. Let's try to add the source again. Stupid thing. Application. Audio capture. I know, right? Now it should work now. Talk.
Okay, testing.
Testing.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hello? Wait. Hopefully I'm audible this time.
Yeah, it works now, I think.
Wonderful.
I'm just trying to think. What do I need to show?
Hello.
This is what I need to show. This screen.
Yeah, this.
So everybody can hear us. All good. It's fucking great.
Oh,
Oh my god.
You can't believe what nightmare this is. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it's
Steven,
because.
Steven. Yeah, please remember the settings. Keep these settings for the next year.
Well,
Just in case.
I didn't change a thing. But what happened was when you guys rang me back, it was a new chat. So OBS wasn't picking that up.
Oh my goodness.
I had to
Oh.
delete that and create another application capture. Fucking.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, we're done. We're good. So we're back on track. So we were talking about the Zephyrus
Nebula.
G14 because it runs the 7940 HS, and we were talking about the panel. It's a 600 nit mini LED, 2560 by 1600, 165 hertz. And you know, the thing is, it going to be glossy, which it probably is. But with the 600 nits, we should be able to see it fairly well.
I'm just gonna chip in and say that ASUS has released those $500 K15 OLEDs, so OEMs have no excuse not to at least offer an OLED option on the budget gaming laptops. I mean, it's a gaming laptop. If you're gonna game indoors. You can close the blinds or whatever.
Most likely,
it's a laptop. You can tilt the display.
Yeah, in a hotel room, at your friend's place, and so on. You're most likely not gonna game in a public place, most likely. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what's
like I was saying?
What's going to be better for gaming, mini LED or OLEDs? Drew.
OLED, no question.
No question. Because of the response time.
OLED. Yeah, OLED has
Nothing beats OLED.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OLED has perfect response time, and the separation between black and everything else, because the contrast is perfect on OLED. But I guess it was not recorded on the audio. Yeah, sorry, you wanted to say something?
I was just going to add to your point, Sergey, and say that OLED just offers you a free graphical upgrade in essence. You know, you don't have to buy a new GPU to make your game look better if the display looks better. For example, like Red Dead Redemption 2 will just look like crap on a matte LCD or matte IPS, but it's going to look amazing on an OLED, even if the OLED is just 1080p 60 hertz.
Yeah, OLED just look good.
Who plays Red Dead Redemption 2 at like 160 FPS or something, unless you're for the elite class or something.
I guess
but
it was
But for like the budget laptops, I think a 1080p 60 hertz OLED would be a pretty good option because it's still going to be having insane response times.
Yeah. Now this is one of my favorites. I was looking at the ASUS VivoBook 16X3D OLED. What a freaking name that is! Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, my point was not, I guess, recorded through the audio because the audio was not working. I was just saying that we need more options on the market because glossy IPS also looks great. I'm using an external glossy IPS right now. It's a huge display and it's only 1080p, so I am forced to use it like 1 meter away almost. But still, because there's no matte layer, which like diffuses everything, makes everything look hazy and worse, it still looks great, even despite the relatively low resolution for the screen size. It's pretty much a TV converted into a monitor, 75 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
I just wish we basically had more options. Yeah.
No, yeah.
We had the best option last June with Samsung introducing the 240 hertz Quad HD OLED, and now it's just being shelved to the side in favor of 16 by 10 aspect ratio.
But not on gaming laptops, I guess.
It was. Yeah, it got introduced last June.
I would like to talk about this. Have you seen this VivoBook Pro 16X3D OLED? It looks
3D.
Yeah, I think they use something like the ASUS Spatial Labs, their version. So on that you can switch between 2D and 3D, and it's got like stereoscopic 3D without having to wear the glasses, which is extremely cool, right? It's probably better than like that Nintendo 3D thing, which looks a bit crap, but it should be a lot better than that. Here it's up to 4070 laptop, 150 watt TDP, so it's going to should be fairly decent. What do you think of this?
Yeah, but
And
mean,
here
the
you go.
price.
I mean, Samsung's supplying this. It's a 16-inch, 16 by 10, 120 hertz. I'd take that over a 240 hertz Quad HD mini LED or just LCD.
Especially matte LCD or matte IPS. That's just complete crap.
And
Steven, could you just look up the K15 VivoBook K15 OLED? I think that's the really cheap one that somehow packs an OLED.
Yeah, I think it goes down to even a Core i3, if I'm not mistaken. That
Yeah,
allows
so
it to
it's
be-
really good for like this one is really good for like if you just want to do basic tasks and stuff.
Yeah, watch movies. I'm sure movies would look absolutely amazing on that screen.
yeah,
Only downside is that weak CPU, the weak i3
Yeah,
on the
basically,
lowest end model. Yeah,
is that what it has? Okay.
yeah, but I mean it could go up to like a Ryzen 5 5500U, and I think the Pro version includes a 50-watt 3050, and like Asus
Yeah.
also has like a 144 hertz OLED option on one of the VivoBooks.
I also like
That
the
would be
ZenBook Pro 16X OLED.
Yeah, my problem with the laptop manufacturers is that we only have very, very low end for glossy displays and very, very high end, so top end laptops with glossy displays. I mean, there are no mid range gaming laptops with glossy displays, which honestly infuriates me. No
or
3060,
even
no
budget
3070.
options.
Well, the MSI G67HX is $18.99 right now. Glossy 240 hertz OLED by Samsung Display, Quad HD.
It's still not mid range. It's considered a high end
Mhm.
laptop. So.
It is $2,000.
There's-
I mean, if they introduced an option at around the 1,000 mark with a 3060 that has OLED, that would be pretty sweet.
do you think this one's decent value? It's $2,600. It's the 16-inch, got a 4080, the i9 3905H. It's different. That's
$2,600 is pretty premium, in my opinion.
It is.
Well, at least
a
it
lot of
has.
But I mean, I looked at it. The hinge, the keyboard lifts up. You get a pen. It's good for creators, though. This is more for creators, I guess. And you've got this little wheel next to the trackpad to rotate round for activating your. You see a little wheel thing
Honestly, I'm just
and a haptic touch. I mean, it looks pretty premium stuff. I think that's okay for 2,600 for what you get, but it's not for the general consumer, for sure.
Yeah, definitely
That's
not
true.
for general consumer. Yeah.
But I mean, it's still disappointing just because of Nvidia's GPU. That's it. That's my if it had the actual if it had the actual 4080 die, then it would be like really awesome.
Well, 4070 Ti die is also pretty good. To be fair, like laptop 4080M is also a pretty good GPU. Unlike 4060 and 4070, those are total crap.
Let's look at some of these 18 inches, right? We've got this ROG Strix
Yeah.
Sharp 18, right?
Oh.
I mean, 18's all the rage now.
Yeah, so many 18-inch laptops this year. I'm really surprised. It's like the manufacturers talked to each other and decided, yeah, let's produce those laptops.
Let's finally release the 18-inch ones. I guess they must only be using that ultra thin bezel design, right, to fit the 18-inch.
Yeah, it's definitely
Finally,
about
about time.
It's about the same size as 17-inch laptops
17.
from like 5 years ago, which had big bezels around them. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think this is like a really good step forward because
Yep.
it has now the highest amount of screen real estate.
I just wish they were glossy. Would be perfect.
But one thing I do like, a lot of the laptops now are having advanced Optimus. You notice that? So
yeah,
I don't think MSI is there. They're still doing, I think, manual reboot. Is that right, Drew? I think.
Yep.
Advanced Optimus was great. Every time I've used it, it's worked flawlessly. No issues for me.
honestly, I think Advanced Optimus is really like super useful for if you're going competitive gaming or if you're trying to do like speed running and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, for some reason I can't seem to
Speedrunning.
That's
There are so many
hilarious.
crazy
Maxed
people,
out clocks.
so many crazy speedrunners out there. I've seen
So that's quite
insane.
good. Now I think we've looked at the Titan GT77HX. Now this comes with what, like a 4K 144
OLED?
hertz panel?
Yeah,
No, it's
mini
not an
LED.
OLED.
What's
Mini
funny
LED.
about this laptop is it's their most expensive offering, and it's 16:9 aspect ratio, which I think is a little funny.
That's just dumb. It should be 16:10. We're paying so much for this.
But then they have to redesign the chassis, and they just introduced this last year. So if you go 16:10, you got to redesign the chassis. That's the whole thing about this. So all these OEMs are just taking one supplier that are offering a 16 and 18-inch diagonal 16:10 and saying, all right, we'll just build a laptop off that. It's hard to differentiate them now.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best desktop replacement ones now because it's still up to 128 gigabytes of RAM, and I think how many M.2 slots does that have?
He's got 4.
Is it good for
Yeah, it should have 4.
It's quite,
4, I think.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? Really, yeah.
Yeah.
So much cooling.
Very good cooling. Yeah, I've always liked the Titan line.
I saw an R23 run at CES. Gizmo Slip Tech did that, and it got 32,000 in R23.
Yeah,
crazy stuff. You know what's the best thing about that new i9 HX is that even at 65 watts, at least according to Intel, it's about on the same level as the desktop i9 of 12th gen. And I believe that's because of the increased amount of E-cores. That goes back to my point about that laptops need more cores for higher efficiency. So maybe not at 65 watts, but maybe at 90 watts, definitely can match the desktop i9 of the previous generation. Which is why laptops need more cores for better efficiency, so they would not need like super high-end cooling. Because even mid-range cooling.
Those additional E-cores don't really help gaming scenarios, and
I agree.
And they start they take away the budget of your limit on power caps. If your cap
I agree.
watts is extra 8 E-cores, you're going to bring your P-core clocks down. So I would tend to just disable some of those.
Yeah, I think i9 is mostly for creators, those who render a lot of stuff on the CPU all the time. Obviously, I think i5 and i7 were always marketed to gamers. While i9 is for creators and stuff like that. Yes, who need all.
I would even love to see a 13th gen Intel CPU with 8 cores and 16 threads that's dedicated for gaming.
Well, I think
your options.
The same issue that you were just bringing up, Drew, is it's the power envelope, right? Like these chips are hogs, right? The architecture is a hog. Yeah, you can slam it through 65 watts, but it's only you're gonna hit the PL2 and it's gonna immediately come back down, right? So you'll see Cinnabon.
But at least in that
matches in
got higher clock speeds.
Not necessarily. Caribs, who's been a Discord server member. Basically, he tested his Legion 5 Pro 12700H a lot, and his CPU stays over 100 watts indefinitely. So it's as PL1, not even as a PL2. So as long as cooling allows, and this laptop, this MSI, obviously has the capacity to cool over 100 watts indefinitely. Well, they're using these liquid metal pads. Yeah.
I think this will still get this GE77HX was power limited. It was thermally fine, but it would still drop down from the 125 watt.
Depends on a laptop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the AIM1 tweak fixed that. Now, one thing actually I wanted to mention here with this slide or picture is that MSI are now moving to a shared heat pipe design. While historically they've always been on the high end, anyhow, separate heat pipes. What's your thoughts on this?
It's great.
It'd probably be better for CPU only tasks, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm curious to see what the Tongfang and Clevo chassis do this year with their liquid cooling. I'm curious to see how much they can push as well.
I assume, I'm very impressed with the MSI's phase change thermal pad. I assume they're still using that in this current generation.
I love this idea of phase change, where like it stays solid when at room temperature, but it becomes liquid at higher temperatures, which is a great idea. And also the idea that you don't actually have to replace your. I think I said it on the last year's stream that you don't have to replace your thermal paste like ever is also great, because gaming laptops, especially if you often go over 90 degrees, thermal paste need to be replaced quite frequently. And with that liquid metal pad, you don't have to.
I think it's perfect.
Shikey, sorry if I'm reading it wrong, is asking, just wondering, I'm interested in RTX 4080 laptop GPU, but I'm kind of worried. But it kind of worries me that it has 192-bit memory interface with compared to the RTX 3080 and 3080 Ti, which has 258-bit. Do they make any difference?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At higher resolution.
At higher resolution.
4K. Yeah.
At higher resolution. Yeah, I agree. Also, sorry, I mean, does it continuing Shikey? Sorry, I mean, does memory interface width matter a lot in gaming laptops? Yes, at high resolutions, like was already said, answered. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have less memory bandwidth, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
like at low resolutions.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange. Here's a slide here shows the laptop specs at the top and compared to the desktop specs down the bottom. I know we talked about in the first stream there, but doesn't actually show the memory bit.
The 4070 Ti is 128-bit, and it really struggles at 4K. That's where you see that memory bandwidth being an issue.
Yeah, 4070 Ti is more like a 1440p card than 4K card. Yeah.
Or 192-bit.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Yeah, that's what a 4060 should be. Or a 4060 Ti. It's not even a 4070 Ti.
Yeah, Nvidia encourages more and more to buy only their high-end stuff and nothing else. It's just...
I'm quite sure, 100% sure AMD's just going to follow suit. They never try to improve.
Yeah, they basically mostly copied Nvidia on this front. Like, whenever Nvidia included desktop GPUs on laptops, only after that, AMD followed. They were not in a hurry to follow, but slowly, they also did that.
Yeah, like they never bothered putting an RX 417 to laptops, even though they could have. I mean, they could give it a 90, 100-watt power limit to at least try to compete with the 1060. 1060 laptops were extremely popular.
Has anybody bought a 4070 Ti desktop card? It'd be good to do a test to see, it'd be the closest we can get to how the 4080 works if we reduce it to 175 watts. I'll have to see if I can get one.
I mean, wouldn't the GDDR6X VRAM kind of help the 4070 Ti?
Yeah.
What is the VRAM speed on the 4080 mobile? Like, is it 24 Gbps GDDR6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I actually would like to test? I would actually like to test how does overclocked GDDR6 memory on laptops compares to stock GDDR6X on desktops. I'm wondering how much you actually can catch up to desktops by overclocking laptop memory. That always interested me, especially if you have like high quality Samsung memory in your laptop.
Yeah, I suppose you could do that on here, then, couldn't you? If you think someone get a 4070 Ti. Fortunately, that no one sends me samples of these things, so I have to buy it. All right. So, what you want to talk about next is there any particular laptops you really liked?
What about Dell new laptops? I don't mean
Dell,
Alienware. I mean Dell G series.
Oh yeah, the worst.
Come on.
Oh, we've got to show this.
Steven, allow me to disagree because they are actually including HX in their whole lineup. Unlike most others, they will not use the H chips, as far as I understood from the interviews at least. They will include HX on all their gaming laptops, which means proper desktop CPUs on their laptops.
Yeah, but look at it. It looks absolutely awful.
That's just one. That's just one version. There is also a black and white version as well.
Well,
You know what the shape reminds me of, Steven? The shape reminds me of the old ThinkPad T14s. The bottoms of them had the little angular, like, kind of corners sectioned off, and it was very boxy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
you could kind of see the heat pipes as well through the
It looks like a toy laptop.
It looks like a toy laptop.
It does. It does look like a laptop for 10-year-olds. Yeah.
This is the
For 9-year-olds.
CES laptop of shame. I mean, yeah. Internally,
Is there a Chromebook logo on it somewhere?
Look at this one.
Oh
yes.
god, that just looks even
it
worse.
still looks
Come on.
crap.
How does it look worse? It's black and white.
I'm
That is
gonna
bad.
I'm gonna get some of these in because if anybody buys these, they're gonna buy skins like hotcakes on this. Because like who would want to walk around with that?
Exactly.
That is terrible. That is absolutely
Yeah.
hideous.
I don't know. I disagree on the black and
Guys,
white. I agree.
Which
I
is
agree
worse?
on
Is
the
it this
on
Dell
the
or is
purple.
it the Lenovo with the side vents
Ugh.
sticking out?
And
I mean, how thick is that laptop? It looks 4 inches thick.
here's the G16.
I don't know. I don't know. To me, it looks okay. Like black and white. I know it's thick, but you need that for cooling.
That's better.
Obviously.
Better.
The G16 looks just as bad as well, doesn't it? It looks a bit better.
Guys-
a bit better.
Guys, I'm
It
gonna
looks a little bit.
if I can
Yeah, I
say.
guess the back isn't as large compared to the G15.
If I can say, I'm going to defend Dell here. First of all, they have, while they usually have terrible cooling, their CPUs usually go up to 100 degrees. Although you can cope, you can actually do something about that in laptops if you're an enthusiast. You basically it's possible to fix that, like undervolting, repasting, yeah. But what I like about Dell, first of all, like I said, this year they're including HX CPUs instead of H, which means actually proper desktop CPUs. Second of all, they usually have the best battery life among all gaming laptops given the hardware. Like they Zephyrus G15.
Hold on, the base model comes with a 56 watt-hour battery, and then
this 156.
You have it 56 or 86, right? So you'll have to go for the 86. The 56 is going to suck, isn't it?
Yeah. But I actually have a Dell G3 from 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, with a 56 watt-hour battery. And when it was new, I was getting 6 hours of battery life on Intel. Not even like imagine if you put modern Ryzen there. Last year's G15 actually got 15 hours of battery life. Can you guess the battery size? 86 watt hours. So yeah, so imagine if it had 99 watt hours, like for example MSI and Legion 7 use, it would be even better.
Yeah.
It destroys many other brands in terms of battery life. Yeah.
So I guess it's a tie between Dell and Acer then, because Acer's, I think Stephen reviewed that Nitro 5 with the 4600H. That one got pretty good battery life. Like people were getting like 7 hours, 8 hours on like a. How big was the battery? 56 watt hours?
Yeah, on the Nitro 5.
54.
Yeah, the 4600H.
Yeah. Because I have a IdeaPad 3 with the same 4600H and 1650, but I only have a 44 watt hour battery, and I only usually get like 5-ish hours battery life.
Guys, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does anyone know if Dell added Type-C charging, Type-C PD charging this year, or they still don't have it? Because last year and before that, they didn't have Type-C charging, which was a huge deal breaker for me.
They do, yeah. I think it's the Alienware ones, don't they? Let me have a look at my notes.
Isn't it part of the Thunderbolt spec to support that power delivery?
Surprisingly, not every Thunderbolt laptop supports Type-C charging, which really surprised me. I think Jared reviewed 1 or 2 laptops with Thunderbolt, which didn't have Type-C charging.
The MSI G67HX does not. There's one example right there.
The X14R2 has USB-C charging.
Are you talking about
the Alienware X14R2?
Right? Well, Alienware is premium, so obviously it supports it. So I'm wondering about G series.
I'm not sure about the G series. I'll have to. Let me have a look.
My biggest complaint with Dell as a company is the way they price their SKUs. Like on the G15, why not just give us the 86-hour battery that's standard? Why do I have to go? Why do you have to nickel and dime me for every little component? It's just it's petty to me. It's petty.
Doesn't the smaller battery option have HDD drive bay? No.
No idea.
I mean, if it does, it could be an advantage for some people who don't need battery life but need more storage.
Yeah, but if it's just empty space in the chassis, because most of these options are just trying to upcharge you in every way they can.
Yeah, if it has a smaller battery.
Sorry, I'm on a delay here for some reason, guys. I'm sorry.
It's hard to say. I'm looking at the spec sheet here for the G15.
How would you guys like the game in full HD at 250 nits?
I literally game at that.
I'm sorry.
That's plenty bright.
I know.
Room on OLED.
I don't see anything about USB-C charging on the G15. So
maybe it has it. Like we'll have to wait for actual reviews, on-hand reviews.
Yeah,
people that actually have it.
Doesn't mention it, does it?
I really hate if it doesn't have it. It's a huge deal breaker for me because I'm actually considering Dell due to not only high battery life, but also they have a battery charge limitation. With the Dell Power Manager, I'm using a Dell G3 right now. You can actually set the exact percentage of a charge limit from 55 to 100%, like exactly how you want it. This is great. This prolongs the lifespan of a battery by 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's good. I would like to say for the most sexy award would be for the X16's trackpad. What do you think? RGB trackpad.
It makes me think of the trackpads ASUS put in their ZenBooks years ago. Like the screens where you press the little button in like a series of apps.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
It does look cool.
I actually prefer the single color touchpad that they had several years ago on Alienware 14, I believe. That looked beautiful. That looked absolutely beautiful.
I still think Dell's best laptop was the Alienware 13 R3 OLED.
Yeah.
That thing was like a complete tank. 13-inch laptop, 1440p OLED display as an option. It had the full 1060 and a full wattage i7, good temps, good battery life. Keyboard was really good. And it's not the crap Alienware keyboard they use nowadays, the chiclet style. It was, like a proper keyboard with really big keys.
Yeah, it's good. Now, what I'm showing here is the Alienware X16 new foot design, right? It's like a ring around the inside. Now, I remember...
Oh, wait, doesn't that cause, like...
airflow problems?
Heating issues. Yeah, because I remember the very first HP Omen had the same design, and it had problems with heating because
the air can't get in. Yeah, Bob tested the video, and he had to lift it up.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to lift this one up if you buy it.
I think so.
Which is why passive cooling stands are a must for many gaming laptops. Like I'm using a cooling stand right now. It decreases my thermals in games usually by 5 to 10 degrees just by lifting it up.
Or if you don't want that, you could just prop it up from the back as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice looking machine, but it's
ruined by that.
But sometimes just lifting the laptop up though creates problems in other ways. Like I was saying, my NVMe drive would thermal throttle like crazy.
If I may
I'm
ask,
gonna have to test that on mine.
I'm reading comments right now from the chat. Michael Ibrahim, if I'm reading it correct. Sorry again, I'm not good at reading names. Is asking, which new laptop with large screen 17 or new 18 with 4080 full high TGP is best in your opinion between all those brands?
Well, I like that the GE78 HX, isn't it, Raider? I like the big heatsink at the back. It's got RGB. It looks really cool. It's a new design, the chassis. I quite like the black stealth type look. And it'll have the liquid, the phase change thermal pad and high power limits.
Yeah, but it's
You'll
also
get the
huge.
same,
It's
same power limits
gigantic.
as a
It's not that bad. It's smaller than the Titan.
I'm privy
Wait,
to this.
isn't
I
GT Titan series? No.
It's smaller.
It'll
than the Titan.
have the same exact performance as the Titan too.
Yeah.
My favorite among MSI is the GE series. It has a great balance between like portability and performance because it also has a high wattage GPU. I think it goes up to 165 watts with dynamic boost, but it also like
What-
1.5, 1.6 kilograms.
Yeah, it's 175 on the GE
Oh.
78, and
This
yeah,
is it here.
so it's the same wattage as the Titan. You get 75 watts to the CPU and 175 watts to the GPU in
Great.
gaming. Yeah,
Awesome.
I still think they should have gone
Yeah.
up to 200 watts to at least differentiate. I mean,
On the top end, yeah.
yeah,
but if
it's the
Nvidia
top
won't
end,
allow
you're not
it,
supposed to be.
their hands are tied.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do if
I
NVIDIA
know the
doesn't-
OEM's hands are tied, but it's more like on Nvidia, you know. They
Yeah.
literally allow 200 watts during Turing when laptop cooling was worse. They didn't have
Yep.
phase change thermal pads or more advanced fan design or better heat
Exactly.
sinks.
Yeah.
And honestly, I dislike this GPU boost as well. As we should have, like, I think OEMs could allow us to, set our own power limits. Like, for example, if we want to limit the CPU to 35 watts and give the rest of the wattage to the GPU as much as we can, we should be allowed to do that. For example, maybe
Yeah,
you're playing a
actually-
single player game.
I
Yeah,
also
XMG Clevo, I think, allows that in their software.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm waiting for what Clevo or Tongfang chassis introduce, especially with that liquid cooling. Because last time around they had liquid cooling on thin and light laptops. That was really cool.
I also-
you just dock it into the liquid cooler.
I also like
Yeah.
Alienware M18, which I'm showing here.
That's good looking.
I think you can
Is
have
it-
the
Yeah, it does look good.
you can have either the Intel i9 or you can have the Ryzen 7000 as well.
Is it an 18-inch screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the M18, 18-inch.
Wow.
It's got a vapor chamber, 7 heat pipes, 4 fans.
only-
It's got 4 fans.
Okay, if this one overheats, then I've had it with Alienware.
I
They've run
read
out of-
This
though.
one
They
should
run out
not overheat.
Chances.
I read though that
Huh?
it has soldered RAM. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's no way this thing can have soldered RAM.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
To make it thinner. Please.
If this has soldered RAM, then no one should just buy it. No one.
Yeah,
I
agree.
mean, what is the point?
Yeah.
It's a gaming laptop.
I
It's
don't
not
think
supposed to have soldered RAM.
I don't think it does. It's got you can go up to 64 gigabytes of RAM.
Because someone told me the new Alienwares, at least one of them, at least one of the new Alienwares has soldered RAM. So yeah, people should not buy that because if people buy that, that will tell the OEMs that it's okay to solder, and they will solder more and more and more, and we'll have less options until everything is soldered, like in MacBooks.
I mean,
So,
you guys have already seen what Nvidia's done with RTX 4000, and I know
Yeah.
no one calls out AMD for their mobile GPUs, but look at what AMD's done. They haven't done much improvement either. In fact, they don't really do much on laptop mobile GPUs. For
yeah,
starters,
it's
they're
like
barely available.
Well, I
it's
I
like they
have,
don't
I, have,
care.
I have to disagree there for a second. One of the laptops we got in was the G15 Strix that had the 6800M in it, and that thing pretty much obliterated anything but the top tier 3080s. Like I test all the laptops that
Yeah.
come in because I'm curious. And it was, what, like maybe it was just that chip or that model, but like I was getting, I was telling Steven this, like I was getting Shadow of the Tomb Raider scores that were 4 FPS lower than like the 100 and whatever watt 3080 in the MSI Titan. It really depends on like if they want to put their minds to it, or if they want to actually not eat into their lower end CPU or
yeah.
GPUs.
Yeah,
No,
even hardware and
I
box
like
were
the
impressed by that.
ASUS Strix with the 6800M. The only issue is it's good value in the US market. If you look outside, it's like as much as a 3080. In my place, it's literally twice the cost of a 3060 laptop, but I am sure it's not twice as fast.
Yeah, no.
It has twice the VRAM, but it's not twice as fast.
So here's the M18 spec sheet. There's no, there's not soldered RAM. It didn't mention it. Yeah. So that's fine. So
well, that's good.
That's good, yeah.
See, I get leery when I see 150 watt TGP and then dynamic boost full speed. That makes me question if that GPU is going to run at 175 watts sustained indefinitely. MSI doesn't even talk about dynamic boost. And it's not dynamic boost. The MSI laptops run at whatever they say they're going to run. So on the GE78, and that makes me question if that thing's really going to run at 175 watts.
I think it will do. I think this is pretty well. It's got good cooling and everything. It's got 4 fans.
I don't know. It is Alienware though, so.
It's true. Alienware do.
We'll have to see. I mean, I believe
Steven,
that
ASUS, they advertise dynamic boost a lot in their marketing, and in testing those, they have times where they do not run at the maximum TGP. Whereas in MSI's case, it's not even a dynamic boost. If you load a game up and there's enough load on the GPU, it'll run 150 or 175 watts indefinitely without any problems.
So what do you think?
That's what I like about MSI.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
What's that one?
I also like how MSI gives an open BIOS, like they don't lock down anything on all of their laptops, including the budget ones. Because when Intel started disabling undervolting, starting with 10th gen, MSI was one of the few OEMs who just let you straight up unlock it.
I liked
through their BIOS.
I did like the MSI Stealth 14 and 16 Studio machines.
Yeah, those do look nice. You know, it's funny, Steven. The Stealth 15 this year.
Yeah.
That laptop will have the best gaming display on the planet for 2023, which is a little funny. Stealth 15. It's going to use the same Quad HD 240 Hz OLED by Samsung. So that's the only laptop I've seen in 2023 that'll have that display.
That's pretty good.
I mean, one thing I've noticed, the manufacturers have improved the speakers. This has 6 speakers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hopefully it can.
This is the 16 inches, pretty thin, light.
Really, only 2 kg. It's 16 inches, 2 kg. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, MSI actually had a lot of speakers and even a subwoofer for a long time on their laptops, but they decided to include a bigger battery in the last few years instead.
I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, MSI had great speakers in the laptops before, in their gaming laptops, high-end gaming laptops, like GP and especially GE series. But yeah, there's only so much you can put in a laptop, Jesse.
That's pretty good looking.
I'm a bit concerned about the cooling. It's 5 heat pipes.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, hopefully there's a way to undervolt the CPU.
But 4 subwoofers. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm sure you can undervolt the HX and HK series, but I don't think Intel will allow undervolting on their locked chips from now on. It was great while it lasted. From 6th to 9th gen, Intel mobile CPUs undervolted really well. You could easily get 10, sometimes 15 degrees improvement. While
that's true.
While improving clock speeds in rendering and improving thermals in games.
Yeah.
Well, it's no longer the option. Thanks, Intel.
I mean, even in 10th gen, like one of my older laptops, it had a i5 10300H. I had to do some slight BIOS modding to unlock undervolting. But once I did, I was able to peg the CPU at like 4 gigahertz and rein in the temps a little bit. So, I mean, every little bit can help, even if undervolting isn't as effective as before. If you combine it with a repaste undervolt.
Yeah, so I think MSI is the only one that isn't doing Advanced Optimus, it seems. I mean, Shilke says
that's
the
a
same
shame.
thing. And I don't know why they don't. Everybody else has jumped on board that.
I've tried it a little bit on a Razer Blade 15. It was a little buggy, but my use case is different because I stay in dedicated GPU mode 100% of the time. But I
Yeah.
could see that being a negative for MSI this year.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna have to get going soon. Is there anything else you want to sort of bring up and mention? I mean, we've covered MSI. We've done.
The only thing I just want to mention before we end this is, hopefully, if MSI is listening, can you please unblock your vents on the MSI GF65 Thin?
Yeah.
There's one more.
That was like a really nice laptop for a budget laptop. You know, it had excellent cooling. I am sure it could cool more than an 80-watt 3060. You know, but I hope for this one.
Did they announce any new versions of the budget and midline, or was it just mainly the
I don't know,
the
Steven.
Raider
They
and
have
the
a
Titan?
they have a new laptop called the Cyborg 15. That's starting at $999. That looks like a really nice option for more budget gamers.
I don't know. It's probably going to be a crappy 4050 though. I mean,
Cyborg.
No, I think it'll
just
go up to.
re-released
I think Cyborg 15 is the name of it. Yeah, if you type in MSI Cyborg.
Oh, sideboard.
Yeah, sorry, Cyborg.
Oh, cyborg.
Cyborg. Yeah.
Guys, there's just one topic I want to discuss before we finish. Because it's been on my mind for a long time now. Is how much I hate proprietary charging in gaming laptops, and I think it should change.
yes.
1.5 years ago, TechLinked announced that 240-watt Type-C charging is coming to gaming laptops, to powerful devices, including gaming laptops. But 1.5 years later, it's still not here. So I think there's having some problems there. Some people reported that, like, once you disconnect the 48 volts, voltage is too high, like it short circuits the socket. So what they could do, the actual gaming laptop manufacturers, they could create a standard, something like Type-C, which every charger would use. So we would not have as much waste. So it would be convenient for us. Like if we had a universal gaming laptop charger for powerful, or a charger for powerful devices that could be applied to laptops. Imagine you could just imagine if your laptop power supply broke, you could just go to a nearest store and get a replacement, or order online any replacement, because there would be a universal standard like Type-C chargers.
And maybe we could.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing the display they're using again with the. Seemed like a matte display again. Come on, at least offer a budget OLED option.
That Cyborg I only see available in like China. Must be available here.
I'm pretty sure that $1,000 model is going to be with a crap 4050.
Yeah, it's going to have like
Who knows? Maybe
a crap panel, isn't it? Like 250 hertz panel.
Oh, right there, 45% in PSC. That'll be a pretty garbage display there.
Yeah, well, that's a 12 gen.
That's just disappointing. It's 2023. Yeah. OLED 1080p 60 hertz. Even a 1080p 60 hertz OLED is much better than this. What's the point of a high refresh rate if the latency is so high?
So I'm looking at the MSI product page, and it says up to a 4060.
Oh, right.
Oh,
great.
wow.
Yeah.
That inspires confidence. Yeah, the 4060 one will be like, what, $1.5 minimum?
Yeah, sorry for changing the topic again. Just wanted to ask, what do you guys think about what I said? It's just, I think everyone's silent about
this. Because if you have a standardized laptop charger, you could take a smaller capacity one for when you need to be on the go.
Yeah,
and then
that too.
You could set your laptop on low power mode. You could probably still shred 1080p gaming if you have a higher end laptop model.
Steven, you probably experienced so many proprietary chargers.
Yeah, without
all these years.
Well, good thing about Dell, they use the same charger throughout the history of time, the same connector, right? So that's
but it only works for Dell. It only works for Dell, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, I've got a Dell that's 20 years old here, and it's the charger still works in a current one, so that's good.
Yeah,
but perhaps what they need to do is increase the USB-C charging from like 100 watts to get it up to 300 watts.
That's very challenging, considering the
Yeah.
size of Type-C connector. It's really challenging, I'm guessing.
I
So,
know, right?
At least for budget laptops, they could introduce USB-C charging. Like,
Yeah.
for example, my Lenovo, oh wait, that's right. Budget laptops now eat 115 watts. That's how much the GPU eats or can eat.
Yeah.
Well-
the reason, guys, I brought it up. The reason I brought it up is because European Union, basically EU, is going to force the laptop manufacturers by 2026 to switch to Type-C charging. But the problem is, it only applies to laptops over 100 watts charging and below. So gaming laptops will remain the same unless someone does something.
Well, yeah,
Like we will.
Yeah.
I wonder when cable quality is going to come into play, right? Because I can, like, say we rolled it out next week, right? And, you know, the masses just go on Amazon and buy the $6 mono price cable and they plug it in and their laptop goes kapooey. Like, I wonder if there's some hesitancy on the OEM's part because of that.
True.
You can't guarantee
Yeah,
what kind of cable they're
right.
going to.
Yeah, you got to have some quality control from that end.
Well, if it's standardized, like with a PD charging, it should be
It
fine.
would
Should be
be
safe.
nice.
Like
Would be good.
there are several protections you can include into a cable itself.
It would be good.
Right,
to
but
have it
we've already got
standardized.
all these. We've already got all the cables out in the wild. Like, I've got a pile of USB-C cables. Some of them don't even work. You know,
But
Yeah.
somebody
You know,
uses a cable.
phones have 160 watt charging. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
So, and they're USB Type-C. So
Yeah. So why
I'm
can't you have
pretty
that on
sure you
laptops?
could literally power gaming laptops with 160. I know you could do that for a fact. Like at least the smaller, you know, the like G14s, maybe some of their base models or
Yeah.
something like that.
G14.
Heck,
Yeah.
even budget models.
Yeah, that'd be good. I tell you one good thing though. Gone are the days of having to have two power bricks. Like, remember those days when you?
Yeah, that's true.
Jeez, what a nightmare that was. So glad that's gone. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for the time, and thanks for the viewers for watching. And I'm really sorry for the buzzing on part one. We've solved it. Discord's the way to go. Zoom is going in the drain. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Cheers, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.